So you just got that denial letter for your disability claim, and it feels like a door just slammed shut, right? But what if I told you that for most people, this is actually just the start of the journey? In this explainer, we're going to map out the exact path from that denial to an approval and give you the tools you need to build a winning case.
Yeah, that letter, it's a real punch to the gut. I get it. You've gone through months of paperwork, all that waiting, and then this. It's so easy to feel completely defeated. But hold on, before you even think about giving up, there's something you really need to know.
70%. Just let that sink in. Up to 70% of all initial disability claims get denied. So look, this isn't about you. It's not a personal failure. It's just how the system works. The thing is, you are in the majority right now. And the good news? That means there's a very clear, well-traveled path to getting that decision flipped.
Okay, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to look at why denials happen in the first place, then we'll walk through the first big step, reconsideration, and the really big step, the hearing. We'll touch on the final appeals and then wrap it all up with a solid game plan for you. Sound good? Let's dive in.
All right, Section 1. Let's start by breaking down that denial. You know, you can't really win a fight if you don't know what you're up against. And that denial letter? It's not just a no. Think of it as the instruction manual for how to build your winning appeal. You know, most of the time, denials boil down to just a few common things. Maybe they feel there wasn't enough medical proof, or there was a simple mistake on a form. Sometimes it's a technical thing, like you earned a little too much money. The key is to look at your denial letter. It'll tell you exactly why they said no. And that reason, that's what you're going to focus on fixing.
Now here's the good news. The system actually has 4 different levels of appeal built right in. That means you get multiple shots at this. And while there are 4 steps in total, honestly, most people who win their cases do it in the first 2. So that's where we're going to spend most of our time today.
Okay, so our first stop on this journey, reconsideration. And just to be clear, you can't skip this. It's the required first step in any appeal. It's your very first official chance to say, hey, I think you got this wrong.
So what is reconsideration, really? Well, the best way to think about it is a do-over. A completely new person, a different examiner, takes a look at your entire file. They'll look at everything you sent in the first time, plus any new stuff you submit. This is your big chance to fill in the gaps and fix whatever was weak in your first application. Okay, but I have to be real with you here. The chances of getting approved at this stage, they're not great. We're talking only about 10 to 15%. So yeah, a lot of people get a second denial letter. But please do not let that stop you. You have to see this as a necessary hoop to jump through, because getting past it takes you to the next stage, and that's where things really start to look up.
So you made it through reconsideration and got another no. Don't panic. Seriously, because now you're at the most important part of this whole journey, the hearing with an administrative law judge, or ALJ. This right here is the real game changer. This is where your chances for approval shoot way, way up.
See, everything up to this point has just been about paperwork, someone shuffling papers on a desk. But the hearing? This is the real deal. You actually get to appear before a judge, face-to-face or on video, and tell your story. You get to explain in your own words how your condition really affects you every single day. The judge can ask you questions. For the first time, a human being is actually listening to you.
And look at this. I mean, this chart says it all, doesn't it? You go from maybe a 15% chance at reconsideration to a 50-50 shot at the ALJ hearing. That is a massive jump. And why? What's the secret sauce? It's you. It's because you finally get to be in the room and make your case in person. This is why being prepared for this day is so incredibly important.
Now, the tough part, the wait. It can take a long, long time to get a hearing date, sometimes over a year. But listen, this is not wasted time. Far from it. This is your prep time. This is your golden opportunity to build an absolutely rock-solid case. You keep going to your doctor, you keep getting treatment, and you gather every single piece of paper and evidence you can.
And you know, this whole process, it takes a ton of grit. Just look at this quote from Adam C. He fought for 8 years, tirelessly. His story is just, wow. It's such a powerful reminder that sticking with it, not giving up during those long waits, is so often what it takes to finally win. Okay, so for the few people who don't get approved at the hearing, there are still a couple more options. But these last 2 stages are, well, they're a whole different ballgame and not very common.
Yeah, at this point, you're not really talking about your symptoms anymore. You're arguing legal points. The appeals council and then federal court, they're not looking at your medical records again. They're looking for one thing. Did the judge make a legal mistake? It's super technical, and honestly, trying to do this without a lawyer is pretty much impossible.
All right, so you've seen the map of the journey. Now let's talk strategy. Let's put together your personal game plan. In this last section, we're going to cover the concrete things you can do to give your appeal the best possible shot. First things first, let's talk about what not to do. There are some common mistakes that can completely sink an appeal. Things like using the wrong form, not sending in new medical evidence, or just not keeping track of where your appeal is. But honestly, the biggest mistake you can make is just giving up too soon. If you can just avoid these traps, you're already halfway there.
But there is one rule, one mistake, that is the kiss of death for your appeal. And it's this: you have 60 days. That's it. 60 days from the date on your denial letter to file your appeal. This deadline is not a suggestion. It is absolute. If you miss it, you're done. You have to go all the way back to the beginning and start a brand new application. So please, whatever you do, do not miss that deadline.
So what should you be doing? You need to be building your case constantly. Gather up all your recent medical records. Actually, ask your doctors to write letters supporting your claim, explaining what you can and can't do. And here's a big one. Keep a simple journal of your daily symptoms. It can be incredibly powerful. And as we've mentioned, it's really worth thinking about getting some experienced help.
And speaking of help, let's talk about lawyers for a second. The numbers just don't lie. People who have a lawyer have a significantly better chance of getting approved. It makes sense, right? They know the system, they handle all the stressful deadlines, and they know how to present your case to a judge. And here's the best part, the part most people don't know. You don't pay them a dime unless you win your case. There's no upfront cost.
So, look, that denial letter is not a dead end. It's just a detour on your journey. You now have the map. You have the strategy. The path forward is all about being prepared and just not giving up. You've got the knowledge now. The question is, are you ready to take that next step?